Tom Tincher. We're back at R&R in Lake Bluff on Scranton Avenue at the Lawrence Interiors. We're going to interview the three Lawrence fellas. They're waiting for us to tell you all about the destination shop that we picked to show you today as part of the ongoing series that talks about how much fun we're having here in Lake Bluff. Let's go over and meet the brothers. And here they are. Let's start with Gary. Here's Gary Lawrence.
Morning, Tom.
And Jeffrey Lawrence.
Good morning.
And Jeff's son, Jeff Lawrence.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. Nice to have you here. Thanks for spending the time with us. I know you guys are busy fellows, and we're going to learn all about what keeps you so busy. Maybe, who's got the mic? I see, okay, Jeff, you've got the mic. What is it that draws people to Lawrence Interiors here on Scranton and Lake Bluff?
Well, we have unique gifts and accessories and furniture that we showcase here in the store, and we have quite a interesting, unique kind of setup. We have a warm, inviting kind of store that people like to come in and browse and
You're
see
very
us.
personable people, too. How long have you been in Lake Bluff?
We've been here since 1979. In 1979, we opened the store here. My mother was a designer. My father had retired recently, and we had a dream of always having a design shop and store, and came to Lake Bluff and have enjoyed the past 30 years here.
Now, your mother and father were professionals, and you yourself must have gotten some training. What's your background?
I went to college for interior design and worked for a few years for another firm up in Milwaukee before that 79 time, and it was a dream of ours to open a store with my mom and I working together at that time.
When did Gary come into the picture?
Gary came in a few years later. He was in the advertising business and decided to make a career change and joined us.
And how about Jeff?
Jeff recently graduated from the Harrington College of Design and has done some work out in Los Angeles, done some TV work, and has come back and joined us here.
Is that why you have such a good web page?
That helps.
When did you expand? I know this at one time I can remember was just a one storefront shop.
Yeah, we originally started with this one storefront space. We had Mr. White, who had a variety store here, he had two other stores, and he decided that he could consolidate into one space and move next door. So we took over this space, and then several years later, he decided to close this operation in Lake Bluff, and then we took over the other location.
And now that you have expanded and have two storefronts, why don't we walk around a little bit so the camera can see what we have on both sides of the wall here.
Terrific.
Gary, why don't you talk to us about what's going on in front of us?
Sure, Tom. One of the services we offer is art conservation. This is a sample of an oil painting that the one side of it is dirty, and the frame is as well. This side we have gone through the process of having the oil painting cleaned and the frame re-gold leafed. In addition to oil paintings, we also work on restoration and conservation of works of art on paper. This is an old marriage certificate, so we do work along this area as well, frame restoration and also furniture restoration.
Don't you do archival framing for museum quality
We do.
standards?
We do. All of our mats are all acid free. We use Japanese paper hinges to mount valuable artwork. We have a wide selection of frames. Some are gold leaf covered, wood frames, metal frames, and a wide variety of glass that we offer too, anywhere from regular glass to museum UV filter glass, acrylics.
If memory serves me correctly, you do the work for the Vliet Museum in Lake Bluff.
We do, and we've restored one of their oil paintings a while back too. That was a Works Progress Administration oil painting of firefighters.
Now they had something that I think you worked on, some artifacts that came out of the time capsule that were damaged. How do you stabilize those?
Those first had to be thymalized, which basically takes away all the damaging elements that are within the paper, and also the moisture has to be taken out of those as well, deacidified, It's quite a process to go through on those pieces that we did for the village, and also just regular pieces like this, you know, family heirlooms.
People bring in a mess and you can reconstruct it for them?
We try to.
And do you do the framing in the back here, or do you have to send some of it out?
No, we do it all here on site. My wife Connie is a framer as well. She is a certified framer, which means she's only one of about 600 or 700 in the country that have gone through a lot of schooling for that purpose. So she guides the frame department, and we do it all here behind the bank.
Let's look around a little
Sure.
bit here. I think we want to take a look at the autographs over here. You have some furniture that I think we'd like to see. Okay, here we are at the autograph wall. It's a rather unique and distinctive, I think, way of bringing in people. I don't think there's another autograph wall like this in the northern suburbs, is there?
No, Tom, there isn't.
And what do you have here now? You have politicians, you have actors, you have sports heroes. Tell me a little bit about who's this up here?
The item up here is Ben Hogan, golfer, and in this instance he has signed a personal check. Oh. So autographs can be on a variety of items, whether it's a signed photo, a business card, a napkin, a personal check, so that's how we frame that piece.
Churchill wrote you a note and appreciation for some restoration that you did for him?
No, in this instance it's a signed letter from Churchill written during the wartime on stationery from 10 Downing Street, and he was writing Dr. Nicholas Murray Butler, who was the president of Columbia University in New York, to basically say that he was sorry he and his family couldn't join him for dinner when he was in D.C.
I see Harry Truman brought you some gifts, and he's thanking you for the gifts that you brought him.
He is. That's signed by both Harry and Bess.
And who you have over here? You have Fred Astaire, it looks like.
This one is Gene Kelly, just a signed photo, Princess Diana, Marilyn Monroe. And this is just a sampling of, it shows how we frame items and also shows a variety of different autographs that you can obtain. And we do a search service we offer to our clients as well.
So if I wanted Groucho Marx or Harpo or somebody like that, would you go out and find that for me?
I would try to, yes.
How many people come in on a yearly basis looking for one particular autograph where you have to do that?
Usually about, I'd say maybe 20 or 30 people a year.
Whatever got you into the autograph business to begin with?
I collected autographs as a child. My first autograph was of Bart Starr, and my father worked for Illinois Bell Telephone, and I actually, Dad came home one day with a telephone book of Green Bay, Wisconsin for me as kind of a gift, and I looked up, and sure enough, Bart Starr's name was in the phone book, and I called him up on the telephone and wished him happy birthday, and he said, "What's your address?" And he sent me a signed photo.
Now you've got somebody named Favre writing on your jersey?
He's not in the phone book anymore.
Well, that's very interesting. I think let's look around a little more. I see some more things that I think our viewers would like to take a look at.
Sure, that'd be great.
Jeff, maybe you can, tassels and all, tell us about this and some of the other things that are involved in home furnishings, which is your specialty.
Yes, we do a variety of things. We have some very nice new upholstery lines, and then we do case good reproductions that we carry, as well as antiques. This is a Belgian livery cupboard from the early 1800s.
Livery? What does he mean, livery?
Well, people would, this would house their horse equipment, bridle bits. There's many hooks in here that you'd hang everything from. And it's a beautiful oak piece. And,
there's pegs?
Yes.
What's this stairway behind you?
This is a reproduction library ladder. It folds up.
It's a library ladder?
Yes.
And then above it in the corner?
This is an English antique from early 1800s corner cabinet that we bought in England.
And these are the new upholstered pieces you were just talking about?
Yeah, actually this piece is a piece that was from the 1960s that we completely refurbished, refinished the chair, new upholstery, so it's virtually like a new chair.
The two others, the Lawrence family is standing in front of a fireplace, at least the facade for one. What is that?
This is a piece that we bought in England, and when we opened the store, we had it installed to create a warm, inviting setting for our store here.
How often do you go over to England to scavenger up things?
We go once or twice a year and comb the countryside.
Scavengers isn't the word, is it?
No.
Research.
That's right.
And once or twice a year?
Yes.
Whole family go?
Oh, well, usually a couple of us go.
And do you have contacts over there that are sending you tips and hints and leads?
Yes, we have people that we see over and over again that we enjoy working with over
Now
there.
this chest, that I don't think the viewers can see, is Spanish, isn't it?
Yes, that's a Spanish piece. This piece, we added the little bun feet on the top of it to bring it to a little bit nicer height for a cocktail table.
And then how about this?
This is a new line of wicker that we have. Nice scale and a great piece.
And I see one over here with a, who's that? Oh, it's behind, underneath the cushions. Couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, this is the matching chair and ottoman that go with this piece.
I see carpeting. Do you recommend various floor coverings?
Yes, we do. We do custom area rugs. This particular piece is a Persian semi-antique rug.
And then over on, there's a big, looks like a chest of drawers over on our right.
This is an English chest of drawers that we've refurbished and is a wonderful piece.
And we have a little light reading here.
Yes, this is a reproduction book box done with a leather top and makes a nice piece for next to a chair.
Jeff, while we're passing this great big piece of furniture here, I think of some of the work that you do in homes. Could you tell us a little bit about how you get into these homes, talk to these people, help them set up their interior, and maybe even go to some of the showcase homes around Lake Forest and Lake Bluff?
Yes, we get people that come in the store and like the feeling of our store, and it's warm and inviting, and we try and portray that in their homes. We feel we're expert at mixing, whether it's antiques or new pieces and different styles, and love working with people's things that they have in their home already.
I see you're holding North Shore magazine.
Yes, we got
examples of what you're doing and what you've been doing on the North Shore?
Well, we had a nice article in December issue in North Shore magazine on the Lake Forest Infant Welfare House that we did last May, which was a project that didn't involve a client, and we were just able to kind of do what we wanted to do there, respecting the architecture of this coach house that was
now,
on the
over the years, you've been in several of these, haven't you?
Yes, we've done many years of show houses.
How was this received?
Yeah, it was received just wonderfully. Everybody wanted to really move right in.
How do you do that? You bring in your own stuff, or do other dealers bring in theirs and you mix it up?
Well, this project, some of the things that are in the shop we brought into the project, and we did a lot of custom work that was new for the interior too.
Mm-hmm. How often do you get out into someone's home?
Just about every day almost.
Well, good of you to spend the time with us today then, and thanks for showing off all the things you have for sale. I suppose I could come in and buy this, or placement in our homes.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking about you going out to people's homes and setting up things in their homes, but suppose they're watching this today and they want to come here. Let's tell them how to find you and where you are. So the phone number to call ahead.
847-234-7944.
And they're calling ahead because they want to know when you're open?
We're here every day but Sunday. Hours are 9 to 5, except on Saturday it's 9 to 4.
And some of our readers, our viewers, I should say, are web people, so how would they get in touch with you on the web?
We're at www.lawrenceinteriors.com, right in downtown Lake Bluff.
At what address?
109 East Scranton.
So there you are, Lawrence Interiors. Thanks very much for watching this segment, and keep tuned for our trip over to the Clockworks. Stepped out and went around the corner down next to the village hall to the Clockworks, which is also part of our R&R on Scranton, retail and restaurant. The retailer we're going to talk to today is very interested in timekeeping and is not anxious to have us keep him waiting. He's behind you. He's David Lee, and let's go around here and talk to him. David, you're all set.
Hi,
Good
Tom.
to
How
see
are
you. Thanks for letting us come in. I hope
welcome.
it doesn't encroach too much on your time.
Not at all.
We're all very curious about you, David. You've been here now in Lake Bluff about 90 days. You've moved up from Lake Forest. You were well known there, well established. What brought you to Lake Forest, and what can we expect from David Lee?
Well, it's a community that's been next door to where I've been for a long time, and a confluence of events caused me to leave and come here. The premises are right, and the timing is right, and the cost is right, and so we decided to make the move.
Let's start over here
Sure.
with this brass domed, what would you call it?
That's a skeleton clock. Was made about 1860. Originally, and as far as we can tell, this one was made as a project by an apprentice on his way to becoming a journeyman. And when they did that, they did it out of materials that were given to them by their master. They had to work on it on their own time, which meant after hours, which meant by candlelight. And they would submit a drawing. If it was accepted, they would proceed to work on the project. When it was completed, they would submit it, and if it was accepted, then they would be allowed to become a journeyman. They would go off and have a store of their own, and that would be their signature clock in their store.
Is this clock for sale, or is this on display? It looks so nicely situated
You
here.
can buy it, but I don't know that you'd want to spend that
Don't
kind
know
of
if I
money for
want
it.
What's behind it? I see a couple of vases and
Well,
another strange.
Those actually, the front of them is facing the window. They're French clocks. They are porcelain dials. This one has cobalt blue porcelain columns and garnitures. That one has a coral marble columns and garnitures. And they're very interesting mantelpieces that are rather collectible.
Collectible, but in what time period were they created?
1850 to 1880.
Let's take a look around behind it and move over here so we can see what some of these larger clocks are.
Okay. That's a grandmother clock.
Grandmother as opposed to father. Why was
Right.
that?
More diminutive
Size.
size, exactly. That's probably about 1905, 1910. This clock and this one and the next one are all of the same nature. They're called hall clocks. They were made in the 1880s to 1910, 1915.
Where were they made?
Various places. This one was made in Michigan with German works by Winterhalter and Hofmeier, a very, very high-grade manufacturer. This one apparently was made in Germany toward the end of that period of time.
You say apparently?
Because it's not marked.
Oh.
It's not possible to absolutely tell who made it or when.
So you look for clues.
There's clues in the construction of the movement, the construction of the case. This is a blonde mahogany case, which is a little bit unusual, so it's probably toward the end of that period. Things were much darker in the beginning of that period.
You do appraisals.
Yes, we do.
How do you determine what a retail price is versus an auction? You always hear on a good day with a well-advertised auction, as opposed to an insurance. Those look like three different values. And how would a person like you, who's in the business, describe that to someone like our viewer who is curious?
The insurance value is the highest one generally, in no small part because it's seldom revised. So if I give you a valuation today and you don't change it for 10 or 15 years on your insurance policy, it's going to become out of date.
That's
So-
replacement cost too, isn't it? So somebody has to put their time into getting the replacement. which
Exactly, and you
adds
have to
it.
go find it.
Yeah.
And in many cases, if it's a rare enough piece, the people will see you coming, and the price will tend to go up as opposed to what it might otherwise have been if they didn't see you coming. Retail is, of course, what we sell things at. And retail value is best approximation of what we feel the item is worth. Auction value is a highly variable number. That's what might happen on any given day based on who happens to be there to bid on something, whether it's on eBay or in an auction house or wherever it may be. And it's a number that can never be predicted because you don't know who's going to be there or how.
Well, let's move along here and take a look at, you mentioned grandma. You had a grandfather's clock, a grandmother's clock. What's this little one?
That's a granddaughter clock. It's even more diminutive than a grandmother, yes. And they were made for little small corner places or next to very large hearths.
What's this one with the, it looks like the ship coming in?
It's a rocking ship clock.
Oh, does it move?
Yes, it does. If it were running right this second, which it isn't, but I can make it running.
Oh, there's the square rigger coming in off the Atlantic run.
Right. This is a very unusual clock. Rocking ship clocks are unusual in and of themselves. Welsh clocks are very unusual because there weren't all that many Welsh clockmakers. This is a Welsh rocking ship, so therefore it's an exponential difference.
These are very, very interesting large clocks. You have small wall clocks in here we can take a look at?
There are wall clocks on both sides of the store.
David, let's take a look at this counter. You have the pocket watches, the wall clocks, and looks like, what's going on here? Are these being repaired, in for repair?
They're in to be repaired, yes.
And what, do you do restoration as well?
Sure.
So a person would come in with pieces gone, and your cabinet makers would put them back together for them?
Absolutely.
And refinish them?
Refinish them if necessary. Try not to refinish, but depends what kind of repair and or restoration we're doing, but we try to salvage as much of the original finish as we can and only add where it's already worn away.
And on the wall you have a variety of wall clocks, but this one particular one here that I'm pointing to seems to be very much different from the rest of them.
That's a clock that was made in the early 1900s and in fact is a clock that was at one time given away by the Chicago Tribune with a subscription for the Tribune.
Craft pattern kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the square clock is also quite different. You have two square clocks. What are they?
The one on the right is a Seth Thomas 30-day. That, while it has two places to wind, they're both time springs, and that's what helps it to be able to run for 30 days. The one on the left is a form of a Boule clock, something like the one down there, and this one here, and others of that ilk. A French clock, alabaster dial, from the mid to latter part of the 1800s.
Let's move around and take a look at some of the other items that you have here, perhaps in the other room.
Okay.
David, let's come in here. We have a display that I think the viewers would like to see. Sure. This is what I was looking at earlier. Why do you have the pin back, and what are the faces sitting here outside their clocks for?
Well, actually, if you look just behind it, Tom, this is an indication that we are a Ball watch authorized dealer. Ball goes back quite a long ways. And these are some old watches and pocket watches and dials from pocket watches and actually a piece of advertising from the Ball Watch Company about 100 years ago.
I noticed on the back wall, if we can get back in there, I think we can, you've got a cuckoo clock.
Sure.
Which I would think would be very interesting to a lot of people. Are there several in town that you minister to?
Well, we take care of a lot of cuckoo clocks up and down the North Shore.
Let's go look at it. David, I see the two back here on the wall. Can you tell our viewers about both of them?
Sure. This one is a small, cuckoo clock.
Cuckoo.
This one is a good deal larger, chalet style. Has a lot of animated pieces. If you look up on top, there's a bell which rings along with the cuckoo. And then the water wheel starts, the saw starts. Somebody has jiggled with this. He's supposed to be chopping while the cuckoo went.
The dancers are moving in and out
Dancers
of
up in the top,
the
yes.
balcony.
And both new cuckoo clocks still being made in the Black Forest as they have been for
Oh, they are?
150 years.
This doesn't come from China.
No, we don't handle Chinese cuckoo clocks, thank you.
What's this on your way out? It looks like a water clock of some
It is.
sort.
It's a representation of a water clock.
Uh-huh.
An actual water clock would be a fortune. This is
A museum piece, no
yes,
doubt.
This is a mere $350. But what happens is you fill up this chamber with water, and this will actually come up, and this piece will float on the water. And then this spigot allows the water to drip down into this container in the bottom. And as it does so, time advances. And that's one early way of telling time.
But it looks like it goes by the half hour.
Well, it's only got one hand, so it's...
Oh, I thought it was 9:15.
Oh, no. 9, 10, 11, 12, the same as a regular clock.
Here's one that's a familiar shape. You see this in a lot of movies. What do you call this?
It's called a tambour or a camelback. This one is a little bit larger than most, primarily because, as opposed to most of them that have a set of chime rods in them that it chimes on, which this has, it also has a very large gong in the back, a coil gong, which gives it a much deeper sound.
Thought I heard it when I shook it, and then that's why I jumped back.
Well, you heard the chime rods, but what you didn't hear is the hour strike. A lot of sound.
Nice sound.
Yeah.
And this one?
A French clock. It's about 1885 approximately. Marble, and this is marble. This is called Belgian marble, but it's actually slate. And kind of an interesting color combination. Very nice mantle clock.
We have a bunch of very fancy wristwatches. I would like to hear a little bit about them.
These are all pre-owned. Well, not all, mostly pre-owned.
Oh. So you have new, pre-owned, antique, you have the reproduction, you do renovation, restoration, appraisal. Do you have a jet plane in here somewhere that we
Yes,
can
actually we do, down toward the end here, Tom. This is a reproduction of a Blue Angels F-18 and the Citizen Eco Drive watch of the same sponsorship, limited edition watch.
Kind of a commemorative edition?
Yeah, it's 1,000 pieces made, available nationwide.
So you sold 1,000 of them, huh?
Well, we sold the one we had, and we've got another one on order.
Okay. And something like one of these that we see in the case here.
It's very similar to a couple of these right here, except it's the limited edition with the blue leather crocodile band.
On the way over here, we saw another very interesting wall clock, I believe it is. Could you tell us about that?
Well, we haven't hung this on the wall yet. We're still trying to figure out how to do it because the walls are kind of cream colored and this fades away, so we're thinking of using this piece behind it. But this is a French clock again, late 1800s. This is an alabaster and gilt brass case for the movement. Pretty unusual looking clock.
It is.
Pretty nice looking clock, actually.
What's the age of something like this?
1880 to 1890.
Before we leave, could you go to that last clock on the wall closest to the window?
Sure.
And tell me about, that's the biggest one.
Yes. This is a very unusual clock. It's a B.B. Lewis clock made by E.N. Welsh in the mechanism and the case. The B.B. Lewis part of it is, that's Benjamin B. Lewis, is this piece in here, which is the Perpetual Calendar. It's kind of hidden back in there. And if I trip this for you, you'll see It advances one day at a time as this lever goes up and down once a day. And it has both the month and the date on this segment, and on the upper dial it has the day. And this was invented in the early 1860s, just about the time of the American Civil War. And Benjamin was a brilliant inventor, but unfortunately not a very good businessman. He went bankrupt a few times in his life.
Well, that brings the last and final question, I think, for us, David, and the viewers are curious to, wanted me to ask where you are today, how to get in touch with you, and the hours of your store. So give them the address, the phone number, and your website or email.
Okay. We're at 34 East Center in Lake Bluff, located between City Hall and the post office, facing Gazebo Park. Our hours are Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, Saturday, 9 to 4. We have a website, www.theclockworks.com, and email is davidlee@theclockworks.com. Phone number 847-234-7272.
Stand back now. People are going to be after you all day long and throughout the year, I hope.
From your lips to God's ears, Tom.
Welcome to Lake Bluff.
Thank you very much.